Hi, everyone. It's Cassandra Williamson, and today is oh my God, what day is it? It's Monday, the 7th of April. Oh my God, time has been flying. I want to give an update on family just for all of the people who are actually keeping up to date on that and need to know or want to know. My brother is improving. He's at the Pikeville Medical Center in Pikeville, Kentucky. Um, Getting better. He still has a really horrible cough, and he looks better, sounds better. Still no idea as to when they will release him, but COPD is a difficult thing, as well as the pneumonia he has, and then he's become resistant to some types of antibiotics as well. So they're trying to balance all of that so he can get home. Mom is fine. She's been sleeping all day and as normal for her these days. And my sister Irma's fine, and I haven't spoken to my cousin Lois today. I hope she's all right. It's been a real hectic day. I just got back not too long ago. I think it's about 10 after 5 when I got back home from the hospital, and so I had to put on supper for Mom. And tonight it was crispy honey glazed chicken. And, oh, it's good. Oh my God. Ah, it's just so good. Anyway, yeah, so I've got that going. Mom got her food. Irma's sleeping, so we're good. We're good. And Mom got her ice cream because she needs her ice cream too. Okay, so the family's doing well as far as I know. Um, so let's jump into some of the stories today. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is some of the stories that I'm hearing and some of the personal stories that I'm hearing from veterans who happen to be trans. Okay. When 1341, the VHA directive, the Veterans Health Administration's directive 1341 4, was rescinded by this administration, by Pete Hegseth, by Doug Collins at VA, it put transgender veterans in a bad place. Okay. Because they'd been getting at least decent care and respect across the system from one coast to the other. That had been the case. And I do know of veterans who are receiving better care now than they were prior. But for the most part, that's not true. We've got veterans who are experiencing some really dire consequences dealing with the VA. And in some cases, they're being denied care altogether simply because they're trans. And I find that to be horrendously crazy that in this country, an American veteran would be denied care simply because of who they are. Now, if you think it's going to stop at who they are, it's also going to go after eventually, probably sooner rather than later, who you love. So they aren't stopping with all of this, folks. This administration has a real grudge against transgender people. Now, I will say this, we've brought a lot of it on ourselves. We've caused a lot of our own problem. And the pushback was not unexpected. We knew that it would happen. We knew that our numbers were not sufficient to be able to persuade the rest of the country that, we're just normal people, just want to live like anybody else. But no, instead we went out and pushed and fought and struggled. And obviously, yes, it was against some injustices. It was against some things that were happening to us as individuals and as groups across the country because, there are some places where people just haven't figured out who we are. They have never met any of us. Okay. They don't know who we are and can't see our lives being valid because they have no experience with us. Okay. Their only experiences are what they hear on Fox News. So what was going on today on Fox News? All day long, it seemed like on Fox News. And I would tune in and out, given the situation and the time and whatever. But nearly every time I turned the thing on to their channel, to Fox News, you had somebody talking about transgender athletes. You had somebody talking about transgender women somewhere doing something. Okay. Now, obviously, transgender women We challenge the masculinity of men who think that it's an absolute. But in reality, your gender identity is yours. It's different than your biological identity, okay? It's different, related, but different. Everyone has one. Everyone has a gender. But yet, we make people feel as if the constancy that they have, the permanence, the word I'm looking for is permanence. The permanence that they feel certain genders have, like being male, for instance, they think of it as a permanent thing that is just immutable and can't be changed. Because why? Because if it's subject to change, then that weakens their perspective of masculinity. And it's a threat to men whenever transgender women stand up and be counted. And I understand that. I get it. I do understand it. There was a time when I would have felt the same way. There was a time when I was in denial, complete denial, trying to hide and all this kind of stuff and be something I wasn't. That, I would have been one who said, no, we're not dealing with that. But until I walked in my shoes and walked real and authentically as me, who I am, who you see and hear, right now, today, I had no clue. I couldn't see it. And I'm not saying that you need to see, that you need to be me to understand me. You can have compassion and understanding without actually being me. And I am no threat, and we are no threat to anyone in this country. Now, I will say this. The science does not support excluding transgender women from athletics and female identified spaces. It does not back that up, but it's not relevant. Why? Because we've never been the one promoting a narrative. The whole story today was the two transgender women who won the pool championship in England combated each other. They were playing. There was a playoff between two trans women for a title in the women's pool league, whatever they want to call it there. Now, whether or not there was any kind of thing to do with being trans women is not relevant. It's the optics. It's the perception of how this thing came across to the whole world. And we know that there are people out there in this world who just cannot stand trans people and want them gone, completely out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. And the moment two trans women are competing for a woman's title, even if it is in pool, which only requires, a little bit of planning and coordination with your hands and stuff and that kind of stuff. It's not a tremendously physical trait, characteristic, or a sport, but it does require some mental acumen, obviously. So anyway, we have been our own worst enemy in many, many cases. Now, that even applies to our veterans. When 1341-4 was actually in effect, then many, many, many of us would actually try to sue the VA into following every letter of that directive. Now, many people at the VA have no clue what that directive is or was. Because why is that? There's thousands and thousands of directives that VA employees had to follow. And whenever someone of us would walk in there and say, hey, we got this 1341 and we're demanding you follow it, you've automatically created a lot of resistance. And yeah, they were supposed to follow it. Fine. Get over it. And yeah, I said that. Get over it. We made a big mistake by pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and thinking that everything would be just fine. Well, it wasn't. And now we have this today. Now, this is not to say that this is just something that happened overnight, just suddenly popped up. that they were going to go after trans people. No, they've been after trans people from the moment we existed. Okay. Well, unless, of course, you want to get into a biblical story like in Acts chapter 8, I think it is, when Philip went out into the desert to meet the Ethiopian eunuch. He didn't get down on a knee and take a knee on that meeting. He went and did it. Philip didn't take a knee whenever he met the Ethiopian eunuch. Okay. He went there, met this person, communicated what he had to communicate, tell them about Jesus and about all this. And, and the eunuch took that message back to Ethiopia. No knee needed. But anyway, we've been around forever, folks. We've been around forever. But it appears as if today, just suddenly we're all under attack. Well, it's not just sudden. 50s and 60s and the riots and the Stonewall riots, which aren't supposed to recognize the fact that it was transgender women who actually led the riot to try to get gay and lesbian rights and protections. Well, it was transgender women who kicked that off, made it happen. But anyway, so let's get back to the veteran side of this thing, okay? Because I've got veterans who are contemplating and planning for suicide as a result of the rescission of 1341 and the mistreatment that they're getting at their VAs. It's multiple places around the country. And what I'm going to say is a harsh reality. One, in many cases, we have been the root cause of the problems that arise where we are, because we do not know how. We failed to interact in a decent, respectable way with other human beings. Instead, we wanted to react and act in a way that is disingenuous, I guess you would say. It's really hard to be able to look at someone and say, oh, you've got to be following this policy, but you're not. But then you go, get all mad and frustrated about it and you just go off the wall on them. Well, sometimes there's a place for that, but it depends on how you do it. You really have to be able to talk to people in a way that, respects them and yourself without being a nuisance about it. Now, if you're thinking about suicide or anything like that, I understand the problems associated with being trans and trying to be in this world. Oh my God, do I ever understand it? I get it. I feel you. But I'm going to tell you something. We know from our training in the military and many other walks of life for that matter, we know what it takes to get through things. We've done it before. We've done it successfully. Sure, there were bumps along the way, but we know how to do it. We were trained how to survive and fight and move forward and keep going. It's time we grabbed ourselves by the bootstraps and pulled ourselves up and said, march, Marine, march, soldier, airman, Coast Guard person. March, but one foot in front of the other. Every day, do it. Day in and day out, and before long you will have walked a mile. And you will keep doing that, day in and day out. Hold your head up and march forward, and don't let them win with the destruction of your life, because that will accomplish nothing. You won't be remembered the next day. It's that simple. Once you're gone from this life, very quickly your memory is gone from the group that you think should remember you. Most don't. They move on. So you need to move on too. It's tough. Yes, been there. I've been on that chair with that rope in my hand. I've been there. March. March. Go 1, 2, left, right. March. And keep your eyes in the boat for those of you in the Navy. Okay? formerly in the Navy. So, speaking of the Navy, let's move on over to another topic. Today, Trump administration fired a vice admiral. So let me share a screen. I'm going to show you who this person is, and we'll move from there. Da-da-da-da. Okay, 1 second. Here we go. Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield. She had been stationed at NATO Command as on one of their teams, commissions over there. She was also the former president of the Naval War College from 2019 to 2023, and was recently appointed to serve at NATO. She was removed by this administration. They did not give a reason. The reason's not important to them, but we see through them, okay? They fired C.Q. Brown. They fired Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield. They fired Admiral Lisa Franchetti, the CNO, the Chief of Naval Operations. Hegseth is going around demanding now that all the physical standards be the same across the board for everyone. And I'm surprised that they aren't, but that comes as a shock to a lot of people because, you know, that actually raises a lot of questions. But at the same time, we've got people who are hugely experienced in a lot of things and successful, like Shoshana Chatfield, for instance, combat helicopter pilot. Okay. This woman was there. She's been there in combat and did it successfully. But yet you've got Hegseth and Trump and all of these masochistic chauvinists, okay, firing people who have got great experience and knowledge. Granted, the administration has the right to go in and put people in place where they feel like they best fit their own agendas, but people in the military have no agenda other than the Constitution. And to go after people, I don't know, they haven't given a reason for firing of Shoshana Chatfield. So I don't know yet what the reason was for that. I don't even know if they're going to explain it. Suspicions are it's DEI stuff. Okay? Whatever. They're removing the women from leadership roles. And that, folks, pisses me off in a huge way because this, oh my God. Lisa Franchetti and Shoshana Chatfield and many others and C.Q. Brown, these are all extremely talented people. Let go because, well, you know, the last administration is the one who put them in their office. Whew, my goodness. So since we're talking about NATO and the fact that Vice Admiral Chatfield was assigned to NATO, let's move on over to Russia. Favorite topic with Russia. Here we go. I'm going to share another screen. Let me go over, get back to my little button up here. Share. And go here. Wow. If this doesn't tell you who we have in our leadership in the United States, in the White House, I don't know what is. Oh, we voted against the U.S. resolution condemning the Ukraine war. All I can do is shake my head at this. We sided with Putin, folks. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. Who in their right mind would side with Putin on any darn thing? Okay, come on. The guy's a KGB person. Phew. Oh, my Lord. Phew. well, we got what we voted for, right? Well, at least 77 million Americans did vote for this, right? They voted for all the tariffs, the destruction of the economy, the loss of everything that's taking place right now. Did we ever? We got it, folks. You got exactly what you voted for. You sure did. Not surprised the tangerine toddler did this. Yeah, me either, Danny. Thank you. Let me just share that one up here if I can get to this where I can do it. Let me show. Danny says, I'm not surprised the tangerine toddler did this. Yeah, that's an appropriate name. That's what I consider him too. There used to be a blow up thing that was probably about 12 feet tall that had him in a diaper. I remember seeing that down in Tuscaloosa one time. He was coming down to visit. That's what it was, for a game. He was going down there for UA game. So anyway, I agree with you. Yep, he's the tangerine toddler, all right. I'm not surprised either. But it goes more than that. It's actually Hegseth and the Heritage Foundation. These people are the ones who are creating the chaos in the country right now. And Trump is just doing what they want. He's trying to outdo them in their little policy book in Project 2025. And he's doing it quite well. Doing it quite well. Yeah, people are saying this is all a negotiation tactic with the tariffs and all that kind of stuff. I get it. I understand that. Negotiations. But, there's more to it. Because, one, he said for a long time that he wants to use the tariffs to rebuild the funds that the United States has in its coffers, okay? So that he can offset some of the tax revenue. So how's he going to balance all that out? That's the question. Anyway, that's plenty to think about. I've been going at this for 25 minutes, and I thought maybe I'd only been here for 10. Have a great evening, everyone. See you tomorrow at 6. We'll have something else to talk about, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Bye.